Hi friends, in this video we are going to see how to create a blog API using Spring Boot Java. In this video we will cover everything from the scratch regarding the REST API which we are going to build using the Spring Boot Java. We will cover what are all the layers in the REST API and what are the methods used in the REST API and how we are going to replicate in our Spring Boot application. All those things we are going to see in this video. So let's get started. First, let me create an Spring Boot application and let me choose the snapshot as 3.3.0, which is the version of the Spring Boot. So you may choose any version you want. I have chosen the Spring version as Spring Boot version as 3.3.0, and I'm choosing the language as Java. And it is asking for the input group ID and all those details. I'm giving blogDB. I'm naming the API we are going to develop as blogDB jar 17, and I'm choosing the three dependencies for our project. One is the Spring Web, which is for building the REST applications using Spring MVC dependency for our application. And next I will choose the Lombok, which boilerplate codes in our application. Next I will choose the mongoDB because I'm going to connect our Spring Boot REST application to our mongoDB database only. So I'm choosing this dependency. We may require this dependency in order to connect our Spring Boot application to this mongoDB repository. Open the initial generated project. Initially generated Spring Boot project. We have not changed even the single line in our application, but it will work. I will show you. We can see here it is our application is working smooth even before we are making any changes in our code. Let me show that in the console also. If your application is working fine, you will see this page like 404 not found. It's absolutely fine. Mentioning that your application is running, but we couldn't find any data in this URL. That's what the error message is showing currently in our web page. Okay, let's stop this application now, and we will try to add functionalities to our application. First, we will create a entity so that we could use that entity to save our data to our mongoDB repository from a Spring Boot application. I'll create a name for this folder as modal, and I will create the name of this entity as blog.java. Okay, we have created a entity as blog, and I will create a ID so that we can uniquely identify each data in the mongoDB with the help of that ID only, right? So I'm creating an ID for that, and I'm creating another field called a topic. It usually denotes the blog topic whatever gets published in our REST API. So I'm mentioning this as topic. Next, finally, I will make it the entity as clean as possible so that it will be easily understandable to you. And finally, I will choose publisher name, we might need a few annotations for this entity. So in order to map our class to our mongoDB collections document, first I require the annotation called data. In this, data is coming from Lombok, so that it will contain getter and setter methods, all those things in the input, so that I don't want to write any code for getting or setting the either the topic or publisher. I will show why we need the getter and setter in our application in the upcoming phases of our course. And I will add another annotation is over. Within the data itself, we have a getter and a setter and require the argument constructor and toString and the equals and hash code. These are the annotations, child annotations within the data itself, so that we might not need separate annotations to our entity. The single annotation at data is enough. And next we need the builder. As data is inbuiltly having the required argument constructor, we might require another constructor called no constructor, because while running the application it will throw you the error like default constructor is not declared in your entity, so please declare it. It will give us the error something like that. So I'm giving the no constructor so that it will act as a default constructor for our entity. And next I will create required argument constructor is already there, so that I will create all our constructors so that I can use it in the repo classes. I will show how we can use that. And finally I will create an annotation called document. It is the mongoDB based annotation. You can see here like the spring framework.data.mongodb, so that you can declare this as a document, so that every document pushed to the mongoDB will have this structure of this blog entity, and give the collection name so that in which collection it should reflect. So I'm giving the collection name as blog collection. Next I may need to require @id annotation, so that first property will be considered as an ID. Everything is done. Next we will create a API class, which is our controller class. Sorry, I need to create at the root level of this blog application.java. Any folder or class you create, it should be adjacent to this blog application.java only. If you don't do that, it might throw some error throws. Next I will create a folder called API. In that I will create another file called blog API.java. It will create another class. Here only we will set our endpoints, so that either the front end or our postman or apidog will hit to that endpoint only, and it will fetch the data. Next I will use, if you need to tell the Spring IOC containers or to the Spring internal classes that this is my API, so you should consider this class as my controller class, and you might need to show this endpoint to the user, or allow the user to hit this endpoint. We might need one annotation called REST controller. REST controller will set this controller as the default endpoint to hit. So that I can hit this blog API. using this REST controller. And next I need to enter the request mapping. This is another annotation. What this will do, right? It will set the version for my API, like which version of the API is this, and it will give the overall idea to the user. I will name it as /API /v1 and /blocks. Next, I will. We have 4 methods in the REST API. They are namely get, put, post, and delete. If we need to store any data to the database, we might require a get method. And if we need to post a new data, we might require a post method. And if we need to update the old data available in the database, we might require a put. And if we need to delete some data from this database, we might require delete. These are the 4 methods and the 4 operations. If you require more information on this REST API, you might check out my previous video on REST API and API complete explanation. You can check out the link that I have given in the description for that video, so that you will gain more knowledge on that. Next, I will use the get mapping to create our get method, so that I can get data from the mongoDB. Sorry, this will give us the boilercode template, but for now we can skip this. If you're new to the Spring Boot, you can practice with your own practical skills, so that you might gain more fluency in your Spring Boot, using Spring Boot for development. So I would suggest you to start with the scratch setup instead of going with the boiler. It's like this. I will create one method. I will name it as. I will set the data type as list because it will be fetching more number of blocks. So I will declare it like this, and I will name it as get all blocks. This is the sample name I have given. You can adjust as per your wish. List and blocks are not yet loaded, so click on Control plus dot so that it will load the package. It will import the list and the blocks into my API Java class. Again, I will click Control dot so that it will. Sorry, it is not blogs. It is blog. Control dot so that it will import blog. Here I will return get. First, we require a service for that. At auto where I will auto where the service class. We have not created that, but we will create it directly from this class itself. I will show how. We create it as blog service blog. We put it in the Pascal case. Quick fix it. If I click on quick fix, it will ask, like, do you need to create this class? I will give this create class blog service. Okay, it have created this. but I need not want this into the API. So I will, what I will do, I will create another folder, service, and I will move this service class into this service folder, so that you will get the disciplined layering of our REST API. Okay, everything is done. I will call this block service dot get all blocks, and I will create a method directly from here. Create method blocks in type block service. It might have created a new method called get all blocks in our block service. We will check out that. Yeah, it have created that. We will remove all the bugger codes, and we will give our own implementation. I will, yeah. The reason because I have given the auto wired is, if we have not given the auto wired, we might need to externally initialize this object. Like we have to give equal to new block service. We have to give like this. In order to hardcode this, in order to avoid the hardcoding this service, I have given auto wait, so that it will Spring will take care of all the object initialization and destruction. All those things will be taken care of the Spring Boot itself. So we might concentrate fully on the business logic alone. So I'm using the auto wired. This is the purpose of the auto wired, so that we might need to concentrate or focus on creating the objects and initializing it. The only job is like we need to create we need to declare the object, and we just need to annotate with auto wired. Okay, next, same like I have annotated. I have used auto wired for block service. I will create another auto wired for a persistence layer called blog repo. This class is actually responsible for communicating with the mongoDB from our Spring Boot application. I will create it as blog repo blog. I will better manually type it. It is asking like create class client blog repo, create enum blog repo. I will create as an interface, so that it will be easy for me to extend with the other inbuilt repo methods like red repository and mongo repository. All those things will be easier for me. So I will do such a way. I will try to move it to the other folder from here itself. Let's check whether it is working or not. Let me click on rename, and I will just check whether it is working or not. Repo / blog repo.java. If I give it like this, it will create another one folder. Yeah, it is working. I will move this entire folder to the root of the application. So it will come adjacent to the service model and API. Yeah, we have moved it to the root of the application. Next, we will extend it with the Mongo repository, so that we will get more inbuilt methods, so that we will need not need to spend time in creating the methods for basic operations like create, read, update, and delete. All those things will be available in the Mongo repository, inbuilt repository itself. Here it will ask for two things. One is the which entity you are going to use. We are going to use blog. We created previously, right? I will give it the entity as blog, and the data type of the ID we have created in our entity. Like we have created as a string, right? We need to give the data type as string in our blog repo. That's it. We have configured most of the code for our proper REST application layering is almost done, guys. Now we can hit the Mongo endpoint and check whether we are able to get the data from there. We assume to get an empty array, but before that we need to initialize the app.properties. Mongo URL should be registered here, or else it will give us the exception like Mongo URL or Mongo is not properly configured. We may get that exception in the console. So in order to avoid that, we will give the data source URL for the Mongo. Data source dot I will type like data source. So the situation I'm searching for that spring dot data source. Yeah, it is showing now. Data source dot let me enter again spring dot data source dot and enter it as database. I forgot the property. 1 minute. Data source dot name, I guess. Yeah. Or URL. URL. Yeah. URL need to be given. I will give it as mongoDB / localhost / 27017. This will be the most of the cases. This will be the localhost URL for the mongoDB. If you have not touched any URL configuration part in your local machine for the mongoDB, it will be the local default URL. Next, I will bring the Mongo database as Mongo. Sorry, we'll name it as our application name blogDB. And everything is done. We will we are getting one error. We will check what is the error. Yeah, here we have not called import. We are importing it, and we'll call the blog repo method dot here without giving any implementation in the blog repo. We are able to access methods which are coming from the Mongo repository. I will click on give on find all, which will find all the collection documents, and it will be returned to our screen. Next, I will go to API, and I will import this one also. AutoWait is not imported, I guess. Import AutoWait, yeah. Next, we have created all the problems in our system. Okay. It is showing some error like commercially not available. We will look at them to later. Next, I will we will run our application like we did it previously. We will try to run again, so that it will start our server right again. My guess is it should create a new DB called. It is the previously created by me. It will create like blogDB. He is giving me error. What is the error? Block service. Instead defining a bean of type. I try to create as a service. You need to remember, like for the blog API, we declare this as a controller, right? Likewise, you need to create in order to create a service file, we need to annotate it like at service. Then only the Spring Boot will come to know it is a service, and it will be used by one or more controllers. So that we need to annotate it with the at service annotation. We have annotated it, but for the repo, it is not required because we are extending the Mongo repository, right? So it will by default it will consider it as a repository only. So we may not require in most of the cases, and we will try to run again. In this, it will individually have more inbuilt methods like find or insert, and it will have multiple repositories within itself. List to create repository. It will have a few more methods like find all, find by ID, save all. Okay, our application got loaded. We will check it out on our in our web browser. Blocks. If you try to hit this URL, you might get an empty array. Yeah, we are good. We should have also simultaneously should have created a DB. Let us refresh this. We will check. If not, I guess it will create if we try to insert any data, but it should have created. Not sure by. Better I will name it as blogDB1, because if it is taking it as case sensitive, it will be taking my old overriding my old database. I need not want to happen. So I will name it as blogDB1, so that if I run it again, So now let us have a look again. We will hit the DB again. This is the older data. Okay. I will try to make let us try it after the making post operation. Okay, now we will try to create another one method for making the insert operation within our mongoDB from our Spring Boot REST API. So we create a annotation for that. For that we need a post mapping annotation, which will create a new data from a Spring Boot application. It will be in the structure of blog entity. I will name it as set new blog. We will return as blog service dot set new blog. Here we will be passing it from the request body. Request body is the one we will pass the data while sending the request to a REST API, either via the postman or via the apidog. Apidog is another new alternative for the postman. In that we can send data from the request body itself, like we do it in the postman. If you are new to these two platforms, I will give a brief intro. Like if you are testing a new UI, you can directly test it out from the Chrome or Edge browser. But if you are testing out an API, you might need any API testing tool like apidog or the postman. In that we'll be passing the data. I will show that in the later part. So I will give a request body and I will make the visibility as private. Type name it as a type database blog and have it as new blog. The new blog. I will pass the new blog inside the service method. Quick fix, create a new method. But why this warning? Illegal modifier, only final is permitted. Okay. Is this the warning or error? We might need to check. Legal modifier, only final is permitted. Okay, let me remove the private. Yeah. For now, I'm keeping it as a default. Here, I will save it using this blog repo. Log repo dot. I'm using the save method to save our new entity in our mongoDB. New blog. That's it. Only it will require only 1 or 2 lines only. Comparing to other REST technologies, Spring Boot REST API is very sleek in the development. That's what I felt. I will try to rerun this program again. So I will run this program again. In the meantime, I will introduce you the apidog tool for testing our endpoint. I will let it be in this configuration. I will show you how to make a request. We will add a new API here. Right. Oops. It is showing always to fork, but I not need to fork from the main. Compared to the Postman, it have a lot of features you might need to explore. I will make a get request first. Let us check whether the server is started. Yes, server got started. Still data not reflected in the database. Let us check now. Local host. First I will try to make the post request, get request, and I will make the post request after this get. I click on blocks. Let us check what I'll be getting. I guess it should have saved our endpoint now, and if we try to hit this now, it will give us the response from URL. I will click. Now it is appending the duplicate URL, so I will remove this. Send it again. Yeah, it is giving a sample response. Next, we will see how to add a new document to our mongoDB database. That is how to create a new blog data in our mongoDB by hitting the apidog. Previously, we hit the get endpoint, so we got some empty data. As we are not having data in our mongoDB database, next we will try to hit with the post endpoint, post request to the same endpoint. Okay. Next, I will add a new API, which is going to be of post request, which is going to have the same URL, localhost 80, or we will just type the API alone. It's almost enough because we have already configured the local machine env in our apidog. If you need any more detailed explanation on this, how to use the apidog, please comment it in the comment section of this video. I will try to make the another a detailed video on using this testing tool, using this apidog for API endpoint testing, so that I will try to make the another detailed video for this concept. Next, I will hit the endpoint with the blocks, the same endpoint with the post request. For this, we might first need to save this, saving this endpoint, so that only we can send the request. Yeah, our endpoint got saved. Our request got saved with the endpoint. We will try to run this. Before running, we might need to set the request body. Request body. Yeah, here we need to set our request here. I showed right, we might be sending data via the request body annotation. The annotation, the annotated parameter will get data from this endpoint, from this parameter only. Like we'll send it as a JSON, and the JSON data will travel with this endpoint, and it will finally reach our controller, and from the controller it will reach the service. That is the flow. First, I will the endpoint. I will enter a topic, a sample topic like programming in C, for example, and I will give the name of the publisher. Before that, we might need to give a description, I guess. No, not description, the publisher. Publisher needs to be given. Next, publisher. Publisher name, I will give it as a Mr. Jim. Related with the Indian publisher. Next, I will hit this endpoint. Now, so that we should return the response, the same data with ID. Yeah, we are getting the data back along with the ID. Our method is successful, guys. We have made the get and post request. Now we will check our mongoDB now. Yeah, now you should notice our data got reflected here along with the class object, because we are directly in our entity class itself, we are setting the collection name, right? So it is reflecting our blog class in for each request. It will be appending our class name in for each document in our collection. That's how the mongoDB will be integrated with our Spring Boot application. Yeah, we are good. Next, we will create an endpoint for updating the same data. Here we will go to our controller, and we give another annotation called put mapping. We are the updation operation in the REST will be called as put. So that's why we are using the put mapping. Next, we will use public. Here the response will be the same data we are returning only. Same data we are setting to our existing blog, right? It will be written. The data got updated, and this is the final data you're getting it from the server. So, such data will be given back to you. Update existing blog. I will name it like this. Here I will pass the ID, but the ID will be passed not from the request body this time. Rather than we will pass it in the URL itself. Like you will pass like we'll pass the ID. Why we are passing ID? Because how come the our API will fetch the data from the DB? It needs some reference, right? ID will be the reference for it, because ID is unique. For each document, there will be each ID, right? So we are using this ID to fetch our document, and it will take the data we are passing here, and it will just update those content to that particular ID only. It will not create a new data. It will not create it will not update any other data. It will exactly update the same ID which we are passing in this URL. Next, for that there is another one annotation. At the beginning, you might feel it difficult to use more annotations in this REST API, but if you continue to use it, you will love all those annotations. I will say, rather, if you ask me, because it will be very helpful reducing a lot of initial codes that need to be written by you or saved by this annotations itself, because all those things are previously written by some authors, and we are using it just like that. We are using the annotation called the path variable, because ID is a variable and it is coming from the URL path, so we are naming it as a path variable. One minute. Path variable, yeah, got added. Next we will, our ID is of type string, right? So I'm giving it as type string. It is saying like it should return, this must have a return result of type blog. So we'll use the blog service dot update existing blog. I will give the same method like similar to our controller method. I will create one method in our service, and I will pass the ID to that service method, and I will create a method right from here itself using the quick option. I will create a method like this, and I will go to the method now, and I will remove, as usual, I will remove the code given by this, because we know we need not require those things anymore. Next, I will first what we are going to do, right? Best using this ID, I need to fetch the data from the mongoDB collection, and I should verify that is their ID is really present in our mongoDB, and if it is not present, I should not perform the update operation. Rather, I should do a creation operation. That should be the case for this update existing blog method operation. So first we will fetch the blog from the mongoDB. How can we fetch that? first I will create an object for that blog, existing blog, and I will use the blog repo method, blog repo object to fetch the object based on the ID. Find it is called find by ID, not find all by ID. It is find by ID. It will find the single first instance of the document found with the ID we are passing. ID. If we hover on that, it will say one thing like cannot convert from optional block to block, because we are assigning it the result to the blog thinking that we are fetching the blog results only, right? But that is not the case, because the find my method will by default it will pass the entity as an optional class. Optional class in the sense, if the data is present, it will send the data by wrapping it with the optional class, so that we can unwrap it from the optional and use it directly. But if the data is not present, the user should not get the null pointer exception. It should be handled. It should be handled wisely. So, in order to achieve that functionality, we are wrapping it with the optional. In case if I don't find any ID with any document with the ID we are passing, what it does, it will fetch for the document whether it will search for the document whether any document is present with the ID we are passing. If it is not found, if any no document is found with the ID we are passing, it will return an empty optional, like optional class. It will be returned to our service class, but it will be empty. It will be an empty array. You can consider it as an empty array rather than giving it a null, so that we can handle it in a better way. So what we need to do, right? We need to convert it into an optional block, that is a block class wrapped with the optional class. Optional control dot, it will import it. Import option. Wait a minute. Optional. Yeah, optional. But 1 minute. Optional. It is not showing now. Optional. Java.util optional. Yes. Now we need to check whether a data is present in this optional class, or it is just returning the empty optional class. In order to do that, we have an inbuilt method present with the optional class itself, that is optional. Inside the if condition, I will check whether an existing block is really present or not, so that I will enter it as an existing block. I am passing the existing block object and checking dot is present. The function itself self-descripting, self-defining. Like if the object is present, it will return true. If no object is present with the ID, it will return false. So if it is true, it will reach this statement: return blog repo dot exist blog blog dot save I missed to another one object from the blog API. We are passing an ID to fetch a document, but we are doing all this operation to update the data only, right? So we need to pass data from the request body as we do for the new blog. We will send the data from the request body like we did it for the save operation. So I'm passing the new data from here and new data. Or I will mention it as update data, better you could understand it easily. Update. I will pass it as a blog data. Blog update data. Update data. Now, here is the actual. You will feel the actual power of the Lombok. If we are not using Lombok, we need to. What we need to do, right? We need to create a blog. I will return as updated blog. I will assign it as updated blog object and I will use blog. And within the blog, I need to pass the ID, comma topic, any topic. And I need to pass the publisher like this. Like this you need to pass and we need to send the data. But this is too much of hard coding, right? We should not do it in a real enterprise application. So we had a Lombok method called builder, right? Builder will take care of all this assigning data process like it. If we simply use blog, we can directly assign a blog object like this, blog.builder.build. That's it. If no data needs to be passed, we can use like this, but it is pretty much useless if we need to say. So you need to add a topic. Sorry, you need to do it after the builder. You need to assign a topic. Topic. I will fetch the topic from the updated data. Updated data dot get topic, and I will assign this to the topic property of this updated blog. That's what I'm doing it here, and I will assign the publisher updated data dot update data dot get publisher. So we are basically getting this update data from the API, and we are using this update data and we are passing those data directly into this previously fetched data. 1 minute. updated data get topic. We are pausing the topic. We need to update the topic. If we need to update a topic, we are retrieving it from the update data from the request body. Like we are updating the publisher from the request body, and we are reassigning it. Okay, then next. 1 minute. Next, we need an ID, right? We need to set the ID. ID can be directly set, added from the path variable itself. So we can easily add an ID from the string, from the first parameter, and we can just create an updated block. So it will, what it basically we did, right? We fetched the old block, and we used that to check whether an old block is really available. And after we confirmed that, we passed the same ID to our another object we created, and we passed the updated data to that object, and the publisher data. All those things we have reassigned, and we are sending that updated block to our mongoDB now. Once I hit the database, you might get the full overall view, I guess. Okay. What is basically saying, like, this might be yeah, because if no block data with the ID is present in the mongoDB, we might need to handle it gracefully. So what we need to do is, we should consider this as a new block data, and we should create it as a new data in our mongoDB rather than updating any other document, because no document is available for the ID, right? So I will call the set new block, and updated data. I will pass the updated data directly, so that it will hit that endpoint, hit this repo method, and it will do all the operations, and it will return back the data, and it will be returned back to you. Simple as that, right? Okay, we did the updation process, I guess. Let us check how it is going to work now. So let me rerun. Okay. Let me rerun again. Okay, our endpoint is ready now. What I will do, I will create a new API for the put /API /v1/blocks, same endpoint, but different request now. Saving the request. moving on to the run tab. So to set our request body as a JSON type, and I will simply copy this. Hit the 1 minute 661. Yeah, okay. I'm just checking the ID is duplicated or not. Now I will change it like C programming in C as programming in Java, and I will leave the author as Arun itself. So if I hit the endpoint now, I hit the endpoint with this with the ID appended to the URL, and request as put rather than post. And if I try to enter the updated data, like I have updated it as programming in C to programming in Java, and if I hit the endpoint, let us see what is happening now. It should append the data in the same ID we are passing. 500 internal server error. Name for argument of type not specified and parameter name information are not available via reflection. Okay, what it basically is telling, right, here we are using the ID, right, but we need to mention it like whether, but the path variable will not be aware of that this is the ID and we need to use that ID only. All those things, path variable will not be aware of those things. We need to explicitly refer those things, like using the name parameter, we need to mention what is the path variable name that we are setting. Because if we are passing more than two path variables like this, then our system might got confused, right? Our Spring Boot might got confused. In order to avoid those collisions, we are setting the name as ID, and we are saving it now. We will rerun it right now so that it should work now. It's not starting. I will start it again. So we will check now. We have added a new property for the path variable. We have added a new attribute for this path variable called name, so that it could easily identify, okay, I should use the path variable with the name ID. That is what is basically done here. So we will check now. Let me hit this endpoint again so that it should update the data. Let me check. Yeah, absolutely, we got it. We have updated our data, but we will cross verify by hitting the endpoint get, so that it should only have one course for the name Arun. One block for the name Arun. Yeah, we are done. But one thing that you might feel weird is like, why should I use this very big object, and why should I individually set each ID, each topic, and each publisher? And if I have a 10 properties, do I need to set 10 properties manually? But if this is your question, it's absolutely not. We haven't had the method for that also. Let me show that. Let me remove this line possibly, or let it be. I will remove it finally after showing you the difference of using this one and over that using this pre-built property, pre-built function. And it is coming from the bin utils. The bin utils, which belongs to the Spring framework itself. It is coming from the bin utils class. It will have one class name called class method called copy property. What it will do, right? It will take the source object and it will take the target object and it will match the both objects. And if it has the both if you have both objects the same properties, it will just like that. It will swap the values from one source to the source to the target object. The data will be transferred. Let me show that. Copy properties, and it will take data from the updated data and it will pass it to the existing blog object. But it is optional, right? We need to get exactly the data itself. So that we need to get the data by using the method get. It will get the blog object itself, so that it will be easy for the copy properties method to easily transfer the data from the update data to existing blog object. Let me check how it is gonna work. So I will use the existing blog dot get, same here, so that I'm pausing the existing blog object. Blog object alone, not the whole optional. I'm unwrapping it and sending it back to the server. So let us check it now. Rerunning it again. A minute, I will check with my ID. Okay. Yeah, our server got started. Okay, our server got started. Next, we will again try to update the object itself. I will again update it to Java EE, that is the enterprise edition. Sorry, I couldn't edit the response right. I will try to edit the request. Sorry, I'm hitting it from the Get API. So I will change it to Java EE, Enterprise Edition Java, and I will hit the endpoint again. Again, it should do the same process, but we have reduced this part of the code. So let us check how it is gonna work. So I'll hit the endpoint again. We got the response data. You will check it in our get method. Verify that we are getting the single data or we are getting the duplicate data. We will check it there. We will check that now. We're getting the duplicate data now. Let's check why. We are passing the 352 object. We are getting the another object. We are getting the update data. We are say copying it to the existing block object. Everything is fine. Okay. Okay, we are not setting the ID to a request body, right? But we won't do that because we are not aware of that ID. ID managing those ID are the responsibility of the server, not the client. But we may somehow need to manage that logic also. So in order to ensure that, I will do another one thing. Like I will update data. I will set the ID manually for now to just for checking purpose. After it is done, we will optimize it. Let us hit the endpoint. Now it is working. Now if I hit the endpoint, there will be only two data. One is the previously duplicate data, and another one is our programming in C will got updated as programming in Java EE. Yep. Now it is working. But if you don't wish to have this additional ID property in our function, there is another one option for us. I will show that. I will show it in the last part of this video so that you will not miss the flow. Next we will see delete method. We will delete the duplicated data. Okay. Next we will use the delete method is straightforward. Delete operation, delete mapping. Delete mapping. Similar to the put method, you will pass the ID to the function, sorry, ID to the repository, and we will clean up the data based on the ID. I will run it as delete existing data, delete existing blog, and I will add as path variable, name as ID, string ID, request body. No, you don't have a request body for this because we are not going to set any data to delete mapping. Only thing we need to pass is the ID of the document. Rest of the things are done by the Mongo repository. Importing it, return blog service dot delete existing blog of ID. Creating the blog, creating the delete method in the service. Moving on to the delete block, delete the existing block method on the service function. Next, same thing guys, we need to fetch the blog. Blog repo dot find by ID. Basically we won't send any data to the client after deleting. We will only send the confirmation that the blog got deleted. So I will pass the string alone. If existing blog dot is present, we will simply call the blog repo dot delete delete method of the Mongo. Delete method of the repository, CRUD repository. It's coming from CRUD repository only, right? Yeah, CRUD repository. We will just pass the ID, or I need to use delete by ID, I guess. Delete by ID, yes, delete by ID. I will be passing the ID here so that it will delete the document present with the for above ID, and it will delete, and it will simply return document deleted. Message will be sent to the user successfully. If not done, it will automatically return document not found. Okay, document not found will be sent to the client. Hope you understood the logic, right? We are checking whether any document is present in the mongoDB with the ID we are pausing, and if it is not found, you will send the return string as document not found. If it is found, if the condition is pausing, you will come inside this and we will delete the document, and we will send the confirmation messages document deleted successfully. This is the flow. Let's check it out. So we'll refresh this. Yeah, now working. Yeah. Okay, it's time for creating another API. Delete. Delete method /API /v1 /blocks same endpoint different request. Sorry, /API /v1 /blocks. Okay, saving it. Hitting the endpoint with the ID we need to delete. We need to delete this duplicate data found with the ID 400 EA. Let us check. 500. Let us check why it is throwing 500. Cannot convert from string to blog. Resolved compilation problem. Blog API line 41. It says we cannot convert it from. Yeah, okay. Here I gave it as blog object. It is actually string rate. That's why running it again. Now let us check. Here we go. Deletion process successful. Got message document deleted successfully. Now let us give some dummy data and let us check whether it is handling it properly or not. It should give document not found. Yeah, okay. Perfect. Let us re-hit the get point and get method to our endpoint, and let us check whether it is giving only single response. As we have totally we had two previously and we deleted one, so only one should be written as a response. One should be written as a response. Yeah, perfect. Okay, hope you understand this endpoint for delete method. Delete request method you understood, I guess. Okay, it's time to optimize. Let's get started. We are setting it as an ID, but we don't want to have these two properties separately. So let's combine it. I need to tell another one thing, guys, because if you are working on a corporate, you should remember, right? You should not directly fetch the data from the DB and sending it or exposing complete data to the client is always hazardous, guys, because this is a blog data which is not much confidential as compared to if you are working in a payment project. Think of such scenario. And if you are exposing all the order data, customer, credit card data, all those data to the user, and think of how hazardous the data breach will be. So we need not need to happen even in our dream. So in order to avoid those things, in order to avoid all those what to say, very bad things that we should not need to happen, we can avoid it using DTOs. You might be heard of DTOs or may not be. DTOs stand for data transfer object. Whenever a data is transferred from the client to the server, that means the client to the API and the API to the server. The data transfer should happen, not the original data should be transferred from the client to the server and server to the client. There must be an object which carries over the data fetched from the server. It will take the non-confidential data or the user wanted data alone, and it will push the data to the user. It will push the data to the user that require a low confidentiality. So we will do that job. So what we will do, right? We will create another DTO folder. There we will be having same similar class we will be having, but it is the name. It will be named as, okay, let us create another new one better. Blog DTO dot Java. Okay, blog DTO got created. Now I will quickly add all the annotations. Builder data all args constructor no args constructor let me click control dot import builder import data import all args constructor import no args constructor. Okay, and you will not have ID here. I will tell why. Because it will handle only the user provided data, right? And even if the server is returning, it will not. It is not going to return the ID because the user doesn't want the ID. He only needs the data, right? So we will not be sending the ID. That's why. Okay, let us check. Okay, first we will implement it in the get method. Blog DTO. What we will do, right? We will fetch the list of blog, get blocks is equal to blog list. Blog list, let it be blog list. And we will get all those things from the server. Blog. Now, in the return method, what we will do, right? We will traverse blog uh, 1 minute. I have not tried this before. Let us try. I will use the blog DTO, blog DTO list, blog DTO list, sorry, blog repo, sorry, blog list. One minute, I import this, but it is not showing. Yeah, okay. Blog list dot. I will use the for each to get each blog. For each is just think of it as a for loop, but it will fetch each object and it will make the bean util copy properties we used to write. The same property we are going to use here, but it blog utils. Next, we will see how to optimize our process of retrieving our blog data. Previously, we have seen like exposing complete blog to the user is highly potentially it will cause potential security issues. So, in order to avoid that, we may need to return it as a DTO. That's what we have previously saw in our course. Now we will convert this blog into a blog DTO, and we will also reduce the code number of code lines. Now, for that, we need one function that is one method, one class that is similar to the bin utils only, but it will help us to reduce the code as well as it will be helpful in transferring our data from a block to the DTO object. Let's see how. First, let us create a class object now, and then I will explain it. Its name. It is named as model mapper. Let me import that model mapper. Next, I will wait a minute.
Let me create one constructor. So what it will do, right? It will initialize uh, one constructor uh, with the value for the model mapper. Like it will initialize the model mapper in my class block service, so that only it will get initialized and we can use it inside our whole class methods, or else it will throw some like model mapper was null. So I'm creating it. And it have been initialized. Okay, it got initialized. Now let us check. Next, first we will try for the get method. So what I will do, right? First we will go to the blog API, and I will convert this blog into a blog DTO, return type as blog DTO, and then I will move to the service function. I will convert the blog into a blog DTO here also. Next, I will get all the blog data and assign it to a list of blocks first. Next, uh, we will create a list of blog DTOs, and we will traverse the blocks and convert each blog into a blog DTO now. For that, I need an inbuilt function called stream, which will convert my list into a stream so that I can make the map uh, filter and other operations could be done. Whatever we can do with this stream, I can now do with the list also. So because I have converted my list into a stream, so that you can see the functions that I can do. Okay, let me use map, and I will use like my parameter as blog. Whatever you may call, you can. It's absolutely fine. Now I use the model mapper dot map. Inside this, it will take two parameters copy properties of bin utils. One is the source, first one is source, and second one is the destination type. It will take the source and it will convert into a destination class type. So I will convert. Okay, now we need to convert it again back to a list. So what I will do, I will convert. I will use the collect method, and the collect method will expect a collector object. So I will do that collector dot. Sorry, it's collectors, I guess. Yeah, collectors dot to list. That's it. Now we will return this block DTOs to our controller and let us check. Now I will rerun, and before that I will check for errors. Yeah, it is showing just warnings, no issues. Now I will run. It is asking for the injection point has the following annotation. Consider defining a bean of type. Okay, we will try to define a bean in our blog application for our model mappers. I will first try it out and will explain you at bean. Now let us check. Yeah, I hope now the server is working fine. What I have done right. Previously, I mentioned right if we give auto void, the creating the object and initializing it are taken care of completely by the Spring Boot, right? But for few cases, we may need to declare a external bean by ourselves, and if we declare a bean annotation for a method, then the method will become a initializer for the object wherever we use. Like note this name model mapper. I'm using the same name here, model mapper. So whenever the model mapper is called, it will get initialized value from this bean only in the entire application. So that I'm creating a one bean and I'm using it as a singleton object everywhere in the entire application. So that's the reason I have declared admin annotation in my blog application that Java, and I'm using it in a blog service. Apart from the explanation I'm giving, if you have any doubt or if you have any corrections in my explanation, you can just feel free to tell in the comment section, so that I can also I will be also aware of that on and I can act accordingly, so that I will correct myself if I am wrong, or improve myself in the upcoming videos. Okay, let me go to the postman. Sorry, the apidog, and I'll hit the endpoint again. Now I will send the endpoint. Now the ID will not be there. It will just send the topic and publisher alone. Previously, we have seen 1 minute. It is returning null. I will check why. Let me check. Let me check. Blog. Yeah, sorry. I written the blocks, but we need to return only blog, right? I'm doing that. Now that is hit, and now we should see the data here. Yeah, now you are getting the proper data here. Previously, you are getting like ID, topic, publisher, but now we don't want ID, and we have removed it in the DTO class, so that whatever properties are available in the block DTO, we will get those things only in the response. We won't get ID from which is available in the blog entity. So like this, we can hide any property like the credit information, the card information, or the important transaction information. All those things we can hide by simply converting a block like the main object into a DTO object. We will do quickly for other methods also. I will convert this into a block DTO. First, I will go to the AP blog DTO, blog DTO, blog DTO, blog DTO. I will get the blog. I will check where it is throwing. Entity must not be null. Okay. Saves the given entity. User return instance for further operations, as the save operation might have changed the entity instance completely. Okay. Okay, I'm trying to save this blog DTO. This one only we need to send, but we need to convert this DTO into a blog before saving it. So I will do that. This blog, and I will convert it using your mapper model mapper dot map new blog, and sorry, blog dot class, not blog DTO class. I'm assigning the blog repo created to this blog repo. And let me check. Can I convert from blog to blog DTO? Okay. First, I'm converting my blog DTO your response request object into your blog object, and I'm trying to save the blog that same object into my repository. Now I will get the return response from the save and store it in the saved block, and now I will convert the save block into a save block DTO. Saved block DTO is equal to model mapper dot map saved block, and I will convert it as a block DTO dot class. I will finally return the saved block DTO. Save block DTO. Okay, fine. We have converted it successfully. Now let us have a look on that. Let me go to the post endpoint post request, and let me add some other data like the even CSS setup, and I will add name as my name, and I will click on send so that it will make a request for us and it will return a response. Yeah, now we are able to see a response here. We will do same thing for update also. Now what I'm going to do, right? The find by method we need not want at all, because 1 minute, I will just try to comment it out. Or let it be, because we are converting it into an update data. We are setting an update data to an existing block, the subject only, and finally we are saving it. So let it be. We don't want to disturb that, but we will try to convert the block DTO. If required, we might need to replace bin utils by the model mapper. Let us check block DTO. Next, I will try to fetch the block. One minute, guys. First, I will store the block DTO. Sorry, the block object way that we need to store. Existing blog. Sorry, like new data for blog. I will name it like this, or blog with new data. I will name it like this, and I will use the model mapper dot map updated data. Sorry, update data into blog dot class, and then we will set the ID for that for the data. I'll just make it small. Dot set id, and I'm naming it as an blog with new data dot set id. I'm setting an id basically from the URL. Next, I will finally I will return. I will directly try to return model mapper. Previously, I was just trying to store it in a variable, store it in an object, and I'm trying to return it to the controller. But now I will try to directly return it instead of storing. So I'm trying to model mapper dot. Oh, we have not yet saved, right? We need to save that. Saved blog or updated blog. Let's name it like that. Blog repo dot save, not save blog DTO. Blog with new data. Now we will finally return the blog DTO to the controller. So I am taking this source as blog updated blog, and I will return blog DTO dot class. So hope you are aware of what I'm doing. Instead of initializing another one object, I'm uh, directly sending it to the controller. Okay, I'll rerun again, and now let us check it. Now let us go to that endpoint and check. Put endpoint, run. I will try to copy the same thing and paste it here. Now I need an ID, right? Let me go to the mongoDB. For the development purpose, we need an ID, but in the real case scenario, the user will not actually do these operations like this, right? He'll be handling all those things from the UI only. We can properly handle that from the UI itself. Let me open my mongoDB compass. It's taking some time. Yeah. Let me copy this object ID and I will return to my apidog and will paste the ID here. Hope my URL is server is working properly. Yeah, it's working. Now I will try to hit the endpoint, but I will modify the data as deva, something like that. And I will, yeah, let it be. I will send the, check why it is giving the error. Yeah, in the, we forget to update in controller. Now it should be working. Now let us hit the endpoint now. Now we should get the proper data, updated data. Let us check. Yeah, we got the updated data. We will check it in the get request also whether it is duplicating or it's updating. Yeah, it is updating properly. Everything is fine. But now we may not need this, I guess, because we are no more using this existing blog inside our method, right? So we can straight away remove that and we can check whether the data is present or not simply by using the blog repo dot exist by id. But that is, we are checking whether it is existing or not by providing the id of the object. So it will directly return a true if the object is present, and if it is not, it will return false. That's it. Let me do it for this and delete also. Mm, that's it, guys. Now let us finally hit all the endpoints and check. Now let us go to the API, check whether everything is uh, okay to check in the apidog or not. Checking all. Yep, everything seems fine. Now let us run it again. Okay, let us go to the get endpoint. No, let us go to the delete endpoint. And, we will use our put data. Same ID. JSON data. Now let us. Sorry, we need not require data, right? The only thing we require is the ID. So I will send the ID alone so that it will delete the actual data and it will return a response for us. Now let us hit the get endpoint. Tailwind CSS setup might got deleted up now, and this is the post endpoint. We have already tested it out, but we'll check it. CSS, and I will send the data like this. You should see the new data here. Next, finally, we'll train the post put method again because we have modified it by exist method, right? Let us check that. Let me get the. Let me refresh it. I'll get the ID and I will return to my put. Now I will convert this as guna and send the put request. So that's it, guys. Hope you understood the concept of REST API and the all four set of methods: get, put, post, and delete. And in the upcoming videos, I will try to post detailed video on unit testing, and I tried to cover it in this video itself, but the video got pretty much long, so I will try to put it as a separate videos in a playlist so that you can watch all the videos in a playlist called Spring Boot playlist. You can check out all those configuration setup to the final complete API development. There I will be posting next. I will be posting the videos on journey testing, and next I'll be posting on authorization and authentication using JWT. All those things will be the upcoming videos. I'm currently working on it. And if you have any doubt, please let me know in the comment section so that I will try to answer for those questions. And if you have any corrections or if you have any feedback, you can post all those things in the comment section, which will be helpful for both of us. And thank you, guys. Thank you.